to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everybody. Johnny, what is going on this morning?
Well, I tell you, it's a beautiful day, actually. I don't mean to, insult you, but I can't wait to get out of here.
Oh, I don't blame you. I can't wait to get out of here, too. We're gonna be down and dirty in 30 minutes here. Better than last weekend. Last weekend I came in, I was soaking wet. It was terrible out.
I'm telling you, we needed this kind of weather desperately. We really did. It's about time.
The grass is growing. The trees are blooming. We're in full spring right now.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we're full spring. Playing softball, playing t-ball. I heard Dave talking about his son's t-ball game. I experienced that yesterday night. It's chaos beyond belief.
And it's funny.
It's funny. And I actually coached t-ball when my daughter was in it, and it's that's
you
great walk off the field, you got sand in your pocket.
That takes a lot of patience,
kids stuck to your legs.
Yeah, kids running in different directions. And then if the ball gets hit, they're really running in different directions.
Yeah, it's definitely chaos, for lack of a better word. So, hey, listen, Johnny, I got a special guest today.
So, introduce this guy.
Yeah, so before we get into our guests, let me just state, as I always do, the purpose and the mission. So, what we the show is all about.
Yeah,
giving our audience, the people out there that are listening, the most up-to-date real estate market conditions, inside tips, strategies, what to do, and more importantly, what not to do on how to be successful when buying or selling the place that we call home. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for almost 20 years now. So you'll more than likely hear me throughout the show mention that, hey, I'm not bragging. I'm just applying for the job of selling your home. So this is a call-in show, guys. So if you want to get your real estate questions answered or have topics or like to hear on future shows, or hey, you just want to get your home sold, give us a call now. Call in live, 518-476-5900. That's 518-476-5900. So
operators standing by.
Operators standing by. That's right. So not only we have the I like to call John Gabriel the Ed McMahon of Albany Broadcasting block.
Oh, that's a compliment. I think Ed McMahon had the best job in broadcasting.
I'm telling you. Do you have a good Ed McMahon impression? Can you do?
I don't know. I used to back in my smoking days. Yeah,
back in the smoking days. That's right. So on the couch today, I guess, is this big hulking gentleman over here. I mean, can you imagine this guy coming to your home inspection? It's like the Incredible Hulk showing up. I mean,
well, you want a big guy to do your home inspection because you want him to. You want a guy that's going to get in there and check everything out.
That's right. He's there on your defense. He's making sure that there aren't any pitfalls or deficiencies with the house before you buy it. So this gentleman here, his name is Joe Fasolino. He's the owner of Top Gun Inspections.
All right. I mean, I like that name.
Does it not get better than that?
Yeah, I love that.
The timing with the Maverick movie. I mean, my kids must have watched that movie like 15 times.
It's an amazing movie.
It's a great movie.
A lot of fun to watch. Yeah.
So Joe's been doing this for a long time. Joe, I mean, he's like the Schwarzenegger of home inspections, right? So he is. I mean, Joe, we've been going at this now for how many years? I mean, you were one of my first vendors in the office when I had the Exit Realty franchise in Latham. So
we started off in 2011.
Yep.
So I used to do construction and everything. Then the 2008 hit and try to figure things out. So in 2011, I took the class. And then after that, I became friends with the instructor and actually wrote a book because I do engineering. So I wrote a book for him for the class, and we created the largest private home inspection school in New York State.
Yeah.
So we got places in Buffalo, Rochester, Albany, Fishkill, White Plains, and we're trying to get down to Long Island. And I'm actually on Rev 3 of this book for the class. So it's been exciting because I get to do home inspections, and teach what I love. So I love helping people, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, to get where they want to go. So I literally create my own competition in my area and become friends with a lot of people.
Because a home purchase is spiritual. It is emotional.
Yeah, it is.
It is
absolutely
dramatic.
Mm-hmm. And it's about keeping everybody calm and relaxed and explaining in a very clear and concise so they can understand it in a way that it's not going to make them maybe leave, right? Mm-hmm. You may be showing multiple houses at multiple times, and all of a sudden they may see something they don't understand, that there are a lot of resolutions to the defects. And that's one of the things that we discuss, but we help to find qualified contractors out there to help them realize what are the resolutions to those defects.
I love it. So you are a yogi master for home inspections. You keep people calm. The om. So
even from the crawl space.
That's right, from the crawl space.
But if we make a sound from the crawl space, they're going to be like,
it's going to be om with something after it. So Joe's a father of two. He's got a daughter, Ava, son AJ. His wife Kristen is actually involved in the business. She helps set appointments. She's basically Joe's right-hand person. So we have a family-run organization here, which I think is helpful because I think customers and clients relate to that.
Yeah, after COVID, she lost her position, so she ended up joining Top Gun, and we were able to create a multi-inspector company, and she is the key for the success for Top Gun. Yeah. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give them big hugs for this one.
Oh, yeah.
So, like we mentioned, Joe is an engineer by trade. So, I mean, who better to have on the show than somebody that actually teaches this stuff? I mean, this guy, I've met home inspectors on home sales, and Joe taught them. It's like learn from the best. We can all learn from the best. So, Joe, how many houses do you think you would say you've inspected since 2011? I know it's a tough question. I kind of put you on the spot, but I'm just curious.
I'm thinking that we're probably about 7,500.
7,500.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a huge number. Huge number. The only downfall I have with Joe is that he's a Red Sox fan.
Oh,
so, I mean...
okay, well,
and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because, Ben's got the Red Sox... if you can see him in the studio right now, the Boston Red Sox logo is right behind his head. So.
Now, I'm a Yankee fan, and I didn't take offense to the Red Sox. I've been here 10 years. And it makes Ben happy, so okay, we'll leave that Red Sox stuff up there.
Well, it doesn't really. As a Yankee fan, it's the Astros now. They're the new Red Sox.
I think so. I agree. I agree. But then again, and we don't want to get too much off the topic. But if you're a Yankee fan, forget it this year.
Yeah,
forget it. It's not. Forget it.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah,
good transitional point there, John. That's why you had Ed McMahon of Albany Broadcasting Block Radio.
That's right.
So. The special today we're going to talk about is the Certified Pre-Owned program. So we're going to talk about pre-listing inspections, which don't really get talked about much because most people think the buyer hires the home inspector, which traditionally that's basically how it goes. Buyer puts a contract on a house, they schedule a home inspection, they give Joe a call, and then from there, Joe shows up and we start to pick apart the house. Now we're talking about it a little backwards here, Joe. And before we get into that, I just want to let people know you are listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show on Magic 100.5, 590 AM. We're sitting here with Joe Fasolino from Top Gun Inspections, and we're talking about pre-listing inspections. So, Joe, let's talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
Talk to me.
One of the things that we hear is that you pre-qualify the buyers, right? You want to make sure that they can afford the house. What I have always said, if we pre-qualify the buyers, why aren't we pre-qualifying these homes, right, to make sure they are up to the standard that buyers want? And one of the things that becomes difficult is that some people don't know what's wrong with their house because they haven't experienced it yet, right?
Correct.
And it's been lived in and it's functioning and it's okay, and maybe it's not up to the standards of today's codes, but what becomes difficult is that when a buyer comes in, they want everything new. They would like to have certain warranties with the property that nothing is going to go wrong. And what I feel is all of a sudden the buyer has, I don't want to say leverage, but has the information before the seller. Mm-hmm. And I always try to tell the sellers, wouldn't you like to know what's wrong with your house? Mm-hmm. Because that will reduce the stress.
Yeah.
Anytime a buyer comes in with the inspection, the sellers they're away for about 2 hours, and there's a lot of anxiety, right? They're nervous. What are they going to find? What's going on?
Yeah, that's
Anyone
true.
that has done a pre-listing inspection with Top Gun, they know if there are any major defects, anything that costs greater than $1,500. They will know if there are any safeties. They'll know if there's any general repairs that need to be done. And a lot of these sellers fix those items before, so when the buyer comes in, they're like, no problem. Let's go to the Italian dinner. Let's get some wine and let's relax, because they're not going to find anything, right? Now, every inspector is a little different, right? We may find things or pick things that are going to be different in the concern.
Like going to the doctors, right? You go to one doctor who tells you one thing, another doctor might tell you the other.
But the big thing is they're not going to find any major defects that can change the value of that home, create contention of when they're saying, oh, there's a septic problem or there's a mold problem. Like, there should be no mold found in a house at a buyer inspection. That should be found at a home inspection. There should be no defects with your septic system. That should be done before, because those are the big hitters.
The biggest issue for us is the realtor. And here's a stat for you. I don't know if you guys knew this or you knew this, Joe, but 1 out of 5 home sales fall apart, right?
Oh, I can totally understand.
It's probably higher than that. I thought that was kind of low, but actually 2 out of 10. So 20% of the deals that go under contract fall apart, which is frustrating, for the seller, because now you got a do-over. Right? Yeah. Now the house goes back on the market. The big question mark sitting there. What's wrong with this place? Like, we're in a hot market right now. This thing shouldn't be back on the market. But the most common reason is home inspection, and number 2 is title work, which title work we'll talk about with our.
I hear a lot. From my side, I hear a lot about, because it's the defects that are found. Mm-hmm. You know, their foundation problems. And what ends up
and that's expensive.
Absolutely. But there's a tremendous amount of solutions. I teach a class that's called Solution-Based Conversation when dealing with major defects. And it's presenting this knowledge to real estate agents, so they're not trying to convince their clients to buy the house, but it's to let them know that, hey, there are solutions. Let's reduce the stress, and let's keep on moving forward to see what we can do for these qualified contractors. And knowing that information, getting that house pre-qualified before the sale of the home, before that buyer comes in, I haven't seen, in my experience in the last 10 years or so, a deal fall apart.
Yeah, and we try to again, sellers have a tough time with spending money before they've even sold the house.
Yep.
So for us, the biggest challenge is, we're asking, we're going to come in, we're going to certify and make sure that you guys are going into this sale as a seller with all the information. It's going to cost you some money up front, but the way we try to explain it to them is, hey, listen, this is a small investment to make more money. So, if I told you I was going to give you $5,000 and make you $500,000, you'd give me the $5,000, right? Yeah. It's the same idea with the money up front for this. So it's just staying ahead of that, having that knowledge to stay ahead of when we do. If you hadn't had it pre-certified, and then we get into the negotiations after the buyer's inspector's seen it, you're like you said, you're at the disadvantage. And the buyer's got the advantage.
Exactly.
And now they're coming to you and saying, hey, you know what, John? Your seller's going to have to come down $10,000 on price because we found some mold in the attic, right?
How many times did we find mold in the attic?
Yeah. And so, and I think we'll probably get into mold in the second half.
Yeah.
But the mold's a big thing. I mean, tell us a couple of, what are probably the 3 most common defects that you find that can be easily fixed?
Definitely mold in the attic. That's a solution that can be resolved by ensuring that you have proper ventilation that's occurring in the attic, and making sure that you don't have a lot of heat that's rising up into the attic that's creating a lot of moisture. The second one will be damp basements, which a lot of people don't have gutter systems.
Right.
Or if they do, they don't have extensions. So, one fun fact is approximately a 2,000 square foot house, John. 1 inch of rain will produce 1,200 gallons of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you go to Stewart's and buy 600 gallons of milk and pour it on one side of the house, what is the likelihood of you finding milk inside your basement. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, that's another one that's really solvable.
Right.
And then some simple safety defects, tripping hazards and things like that. So when we have an accumulation of all these defects, and even if there's not a major defect, but if you have an accumulation, all of a sudden the clients start getting anxiety.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah,
And
I know I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you find past termite damage, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of that, but the termites are gone, but the damage is there, and maybe the damage is something to a major beam underneath the main floor of the house.
Powder post beetles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
And trying to make sure you get good qualified contractors that are in there.
Well, listen, top 5 benefits to a home seller by getting their home certified pre-owned after the break. And we're going to touch more about mold, touch more about termites, whatever is clever. We'll talk about home inspections coming up after the break.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Hey, it's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at the Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. I love that one. johnnyhasthebuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Right, we're back. We had a little break discussion there. And I forget that I shouldn't forget that not Ed McMahon. John Gabriel over here his wife was in mortgage business for years.
We're talking about home inspectors, and there's so many out there, so many great ones, and some that are, I'll be polite, say not so great. Yep. They'll do a quick inspection. Okay, this is fine. Yep. Turns on the water. Okay, you got water, and he's out the door.
Yeah. And they're just coming in to basically do a job, but not Joe Fasolino from Top Gun Inspections.
That's right.
This guy is he's the yogi master.
Yeah, we want it done right.
Home inspectors here. So, hey, before we get back into our topic, I do want to talk about an event I have this afternoon. Joe and I were actually talking on the break. So we spoke about this last week with, I think Joe Malone and I touched on it, but in Glenville, the Legacy Project, the Veterans Memorial Project that's going on right now, they just broke ground on it. It's actually right across the street from my office. And we're actually able to, we're presenting a check to them for a donation to help help the project further itself. So we're going to be there this afternoon presenting a check to those guys, and that all came from commissions, right? So as we mentioned before, we're big on donations. We do a lot with Make-A-Wish, Albany, the APF Veterans Memorial. So if anybody out there knows anybody looking to buy or sell a home, and they refer them over to our award-winning sales team, we take a portion of all of our commissions and we give it back to the community. So your referrals actually help all these different projects.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give that quick plug.
Yeah.
Referrals help the communities at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So
doesn't get better.
Mold.
Termites. Yeah.
Roof leaks. Mm-hmm. We're talking to the expert on all this stuff, and we're going to talk about some of the benefits
Foundations.
that Foundations. That's oh my God. One of the worst.
Yeah,
but
like you say, a lot of water, but no sump pump.
Yeah.
Especially with our spring that we've been having.
This is wet basement season for sure. But Joe, We were talking about 3 common things that can be corrected. Let's talk about not only identifying them, but correcting them, and how, as a team, Top Gun and the brokerage can help sellers be successful.
Absolutely. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can do a pre-listing inspection, right? Like you can do a complete home evaluation as a buyer inspector would do, and then you can do like an a la carte. You can have them look in the attic and go down and look in the basements and look at all the mechanicals, because if the home is in fair condition, typically there's not too many issues in the bathrooms and the kitchens. And what we would do is we'd inspect it as if we operate all the heating systems and the water systems, and evaluate the electrical and the plumbing and the complete structural foundation of the home. And if there's any defects, we have qualified anyone that I recommend actually works on my house. People that
that's huge.
That's good.
That I've been friends with for a very long time. There's one company that Joe Rossi that I grew up with. They own Adams Heating and Cooling, right? I find that to be a very important thing that we do. And then also, John, that you have qualified contractors. So
contractors are tough.
They're tough, and trying to find ones that are not, I don't want to say kill the deal, but there's so many solutions. Like if you got a boat foundation, you can do pilasters, you can do carbon fiber, you can do anchor method. I mean, so whoever you call, if you call someone that has a diesel, mechanical, they're going to dig the foundation. If you have someone that has 7 guys, they're going to dig with shovels, right? So the biggest thing is we don't leave you, right? We do the inspection. We're not gone. We're not flying by night. We're there for the entire time. If you have continual conversations, if you need us to help explain things, we're there for the entire time until the sale.
Now, Joe, what about electrical? Now, I'm sure you've inspected many homes that are over 100 years old that were probably wired in the 1930s and 40s.
Knob and tube, baby.
Knob and tube.
Oh, boy.
Big deal killer.
Yeah.
Banks hate that.
And they do, but the issue is that the homeowner's
but it can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
If you catch it first.
Been living there and like, I got no problem.
Your home
But you got
certified
to let them know that it is a problem.
It is a problem. And sometimes you don't have to fix it, right, John? You can just get the data, get the quotes, and then you adjust the price for the sale.
Exactly. You give us a running start by knowing, hey, okay, the house has got knob and tube. We talked to Joe. We talked to an electrician. It's going to be $5,000 to remediate, let's call it, or correct it if you even want to do that, because some banks will allow knob and tube, some won't, and a lot of people still live with knob and tube wiring. It's not the end of the world.
It's just like friable insulation.
So it's will the buyer accept the credit that the seller's going to give at that point? And can we keep moving with the deal? But if we find this out in the inspection,
you're ahead
post closing,
you're on your heels.
There's the drama.
Right.
There's the drama, right? Then it becomes, oh my God, this guy's trying to rip me off.
Just think about it. If you had a pre-owned certified home, right, and as a buyer, they walk in and say, these are all the issues with the house. These are all the quotes. I can't afford to fix them, but at the end of the sale, I can cut you checks for these particular people. Everyone's going to be like, wow, this is fantastic. Think
about the buyer, though. The buyer goes in eyes wide open. Right? Here's the report, at the tour of the house. Here's the report. Here's everything that's wrong with it. Here's what we fixed, and here's what we're not willing to fix, but we've already adjusted the price on it. Can you live with the knob and tube? Great. Let's keep going.
And you know what? Both agents, the buyer and the sellers, they all, this is a very large community, but a very small community because everybody knows each other. And they have been sellers, and they are buyers, and they want this communication to work smoothly. And what ends up happening, it's a dance. But the moment we start finding defects at the buyer inspection, it becomes a very difficult dance because that's where the emotion is.
We want a waltz, not a break dance. Right?
And everyone cares. Everybody wants the best. The agents want the best. The home inspectors are really looking out for their clients' health and wellness and making sure that this is a good home.
The yogi master right here. You hear him. Folks.
Well, the thing is
he's right though, and I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like, this is absolutely true.
I'll tell you something, that every time there is a fire, every time there's a child that drowns in a pool, home inspectors will run to their TV and say, "Did I inspect that house?" Right? Like, nobody knows that when you have those issues.
You're right.
We're like, were we the ones that were there? Did we not do a good enough
What
job.
did we miss?
What did we miss?
What did we miss?
Even though those are sometimes out of the standards of practice, but those are the information like, hey, you got a deck. The Navy SEAL says, 1 is none, 2 is 1, right? You got to have a gate, locking gate at the above ground pool, plus the sliding glass door has to be locked, plus you should have a wake alarm, right? So we're there trying to make sure.
I just put up my safety fence on my pool yesterday.
You should get a wake alarm.
I should.
They make a wake. I mean, your neighbors 3 or 4 houses down.
Well, here,
ear pitching.
Piercing, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good to know. See, I learned something today.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Learned something. On-time closings. We didn't talk about that. Big benefit to the seller, okay? Now we know up front what's wrong. We're tackling all that stuff as early as we can. If there's a little bit of hodgepodge in the middle that we have to do if the buyer hires a second inspector, we adjust. But at the end of the day, we're not having this big disruption in the contract process, right?
Yeah.
On-time closing is
huge.
It's big.
Especially in today's market.
Yep.
Right?
Big.
There's not enough homes out there already.
Yeah.
So it's already a stressful event.
And this is a great. How many people are waiving home inspections right now, Joe?
Oh my God!
I mean, does it infuriate you? I mean, let's talk about it. It's a huge topic. I mean, think about
that's never good. That's
I
never
don't
good.
think
so competitive, John. People are just throwing.
Well, I know
all
that.
caution
I know.
to the
And
wind.
you
I've
mentioned
had
that a
people
couple
give
of
me
weeks
their,
ago.
You know,
I know.
They've handed me their firstborn child to get contracts right now.
I know, but it's
insane.
it's just dangerous to not get an inspection.
Correct.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yep.
And I'm sure it's Joe's.
What? Have you ever bought a used car and not brought your buddy that's not a car mechanic and tell him to take a look at it?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Well, same deal.
Same deal.
Yeah.
And the market does change a little bit. We're finding out that we're offering what is called showing inspections, where the
discovery,
client, where the client will be there seeing the house for the first time, and we're just running around to see if we see anything. But we tell them, like, I have 30 minutes to find all these major defects. That it becomes really difficult.
It's tough. Yeah,
it's tough. And I understand the market today. It's to get a house.
It's like speed dating. I mean, do you really think you're going to find the love of your life speed dating?
No,
be honest.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Post-closing drama, right? Here's another benefit. Eliminates possible legal disclosure and related problems after the sale. Like you said, Joe, you turn on the news and the house burnt down.
Yep.
Who's responsible for that?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to go on.
Well, I shouldn't say who's responsible for that, but we can eliminate that through the pre-inspection as best as we can, right? Because we're tackling all that stuff up front, and we can be in front of it.
How many times, John, have you gone through a walkthrough and all of a sudden gone down to the basement and the basement's wet? Right? Or there's
enough times to remember,
Yeah, or you can just
house on
coming down
Brevet or
the
Avenue,
stairs, you can tell there's an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, and then you you got the closing in 7 hours or 6 hours.
That's
and they're like,
fun.
we got all these problems. And by working with the seller and say, tell us what's your
wrong.
defects, right? Because
tell us your sins.
You will have a smoother transaction.
Yeah.
And some people don't want that. Or maybe they don't even know. Like at my father's house, my father was an electrician or a plumber or anything.
Yep.
He was just working at the state as a health department manager.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know that knowledge. Some people don't. And that's why what we're here talking about today is making that transition, getting in there, inspecting it before this buyer gets in there.
And how about at the seller not having to look back, right? You've already you've told everybody that's what's wrong with it. And at that point, it's off your chest.
It is.
Right? It's peace of mind knowing that they're not going to be able to come back and
So you've listed homes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you heard during the home inspection from your seller, hey, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I'm really stressed out. What are they going to find? What do they know? And then after the inspection, that's where the phone calls start happening.
Yeah.
Right, between the agents. What do you see anything? Do you not see anything?
And last but not least, we tackled peace of mind. Your home's far more likely to sell faster and for more money because it's a safe bet above buying any other listing.
Absolutely.
Right? More money, quickest amount of time. That's what we do at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And that's why the Certified Pre-Owned program is the best. Joe, thank you very much. Johnny G,
Hey.
always a pleasure.
See you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. That's johnnyhasthebuyers.com.